This morning we're walking around Cranford Park, and here's a short video of our meanderings. We've entered the park over the bridge across the River Crane from Avenue Park, and it's just an ideal day for a walk. Temperature isn't that high, it's only 52, but it's relatively clear sky, high cloud, and there's no wind, so we don't have the dreaded wind chill. Over there, which is a southerly direction, is Heathrow Airport, and it's much quieter than normal due to us being in a lockdown, but planes take off from there every so often, interrupting the silence.
Yeah, it's taken off. Still cloudy, but hazy.
And there's another, taking off to some warm and sunny climate, I'm sure. We've still got quite a few autumn colours here in the park. Okay, it's not New England. There's quite a few people out walking and exercising. We do have a lockdown, but as long as you stay sufficiently far apart from other people that aren't in your household, it's okay. Over there, just the other side of the bridge out of sight, that's the main road entrance into Cranford Park. You drive down this driveway, and into the car park there just behind the trees where that van's just disappearing. Here we are now across the field, and it's just a big enough gap in the fence here to walk through. This is the path I mentioned that comes from the entrance. The entrance being down that way. This is the car park, and it's open, broadly speaking, and from sunrise to sunset, so it closes quite early this time of the year because it's dark soon after 4. That sign ahead there marks the Hillingdon Trail. The Hillingdon Trail starts here. It goes up through the canal, past the Grand Union Canal, up to Southall, and then up through the Greenway. From there it goes up towards Ickenham and Ruislip, and round the back of Ruislip Woods and up through to Harefield. It's 20 miles in total, and it's pretty green pretty much all of the way. A nice walk. Haven't done the whole thing myself, done little bits of it here and there. Here we have St Dunstan's Church, mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1066, and the church has been modified, built on and altered over the years. A new vestry was completed just a very few years ago. There are 6 bells in the tower, and one of them is the oldest bell in the Diocese of London, and it dates from 1308. There's the church cemetery. Always quiet and peaceful here, except in the distance you can hear the unfortunate drone of the M4 motorway traffic. St Dunstan's Church is an active parish church, and there are regular Sunday services here normally, although it's rather quiet during lockdown. Here's an unusual headstone in the cemetery. It belongs to a John Donne, who died at the young age of 16 in 1748. In this graveyard there is a plaque to Tony Hancock, along with his mother. And Tony Hancock met a rather premature, untimely end in Australia in 1968. Leaving the church area now, and we're heading towards where the old house used to be. The house here at Cranford Park stood here from the 1600s, owned by the Berkeley family for 300 years, from 1618 down to 1918. It was, at that time, their country pile. This wasn't a suburb of London back then, but truly out in the countryside. And they would hunt here all across the heath, and apparently even into London itself. Berkeley Square is named after the Berkeley family. The house was demolished in 1945, and all that is left now is part of the stable block, which we can see here. Cranford Park Friends and Hillingdon Council have recently been awarded a lottery grant, and there are great plans for this area, and exciting times are ahead. Here we have the entrance to the secret garden, which unfortunately is now closed until the spring, and closed anyway because of lockdown, but we're normally only open between Easter and October. In here we use this as part of the museum to display artifacts relating to Cranford Park and its history. Here is the rear of part of the surviving stable block. We just walked round from the front where you could see the clock. This is the rear of that building. Here we have the community orchard, and this would be so peaceful and quiet if we didn't have the roar of the M4 motorway right next door. But there are various varieties of apples and pears in this orchard, although now in early November it's way past apple picking time. But there are plenty of apples here for the picking at the right time of the year. Now we're in the woods. They're not extensive woods, but they're big enough to pretend you're in the middle of nowhere for a short while. These posts here mark the original entrance to the house, which is actually behind us. Just imagine 200 or 300 years ago, the horses and carriages of the Berkeley family and their many friends, family and visitors heading down here for a weekend, staying at the manor. Standing here, you can hear the motorway in the distance. The planes taking off and landing from Heathrow Airport, and during the quiet moments, the wildlife. You're walking here alongside Frog's Ditch, and we're heading down, not too far now, to the exit from the park. We're at the bottom end of Cranford Park now, the most southerly section. The field in front, part of it is fenced off because during the summer, one of the local farmers put some of his cows in the field here, which is good for the environment, of course. Helps to keep the grass down, and it's nice for people to see. It's a grey old day, but there is no wind, and it's actually perfect walking weather. So we started here, and we walked across here to where the church is. Then we walked round by where the house used to be, and then we walked all the way through the woods here. Down here, that blue line there is Frog's Ditch, and we've walked all the way down here and along to here, and now we're just going out here through the exit. Anyway folks, that was Cranford Countryside Park. Just a little informal stroll around, and here we go through the gate, back outside, and back onto tarmac. Hope you enjoyed.